In the last part, we have seen about the asexual reproduction. Now, we are going to talk about the sexual reproduction. So, sexual reproduction means when the conjugation of male gametes and the female gametes are possible, then it is called sexual reproduction. In sexual reproduction, we have to see the juvenile phase and the reproductive phase. What is meant by juvenile phase means when all the organisms are having a particular age or particular growth. After particular growth only the possibility of sexual reproduction is possible. That is the formation of male gametes or female gametes. For say example, in case of human being, the puberty of the female is attained after 13 years or 12 years. So in case of male also, the 14, 15 like that. So this is called juvenile phase. During juvenile phase, the juvenile hormone is very active. That's why it is meant for the development of the reproductive organs. So when juvenile organs are in higher note, then there will be the very growth will be more, and after the possibility of juvenile growth, then the reproductive phase starts. So in the juvenile phase is always called vegetative phase, and in the reproductive phase, in case of the male or female, it is called in case of ostrus cycle and or menstrual cycle. Estrus cycle or menstrual cycle. Estrus cycle means in primates, there are primates, the highly developed mammalia. There are two types of mammalia. One is called the non-primates and primates. In case of primates, the menstrual cycle is possible. Menstrual cycle means every month the ovum will be produced, and the menstrual phase starts. It goes for 4 or 5 days. That is called menstrual phase. During menstrual phase, every month this periodic thing happens. That is called menstrual cycle. And in case of estrus cycle, the hormonal activity will be in a particular period, that is called estrus period. That is called, otherwise called heating period. During that period only the reproduction is possible, the heating period. That means the ovum will be starting. That is, it is not a regular one. During particular period only the estrus thing happens. For in case of cow, sheep, deer, the estrus cycle happens. That means the heating. During that period only the ovum develops, and during that period the possibility of reproduction is there. During that time, if the male gamete joining with the female gamete, then the reproduction is possible. So, but in the case of menstrual cycle, every month the possibility of reproduction is possible. That is, usually in the case of human being, the possibility of reproduction during 13, the period cycle starts from 1 to 29 days or 30 days. In the reproduction, the ovum formation is from 13, 14, 15. During that period, the ovum gets coming out from the follicular stage, and during that period, if the possibility of reproduction is possible when male gamete joins with the female. Like that, this is these are the things happening in the sexual cycle, and in the events in sexual reproduction, we are dividing it into 3 stages. One is called pre-fertilization stage, and then fertilization stage, and post-fertilization. So இதை தமிழ் சொல்ல போனால் செக்ஸுவல் ரிப்ரொடக்ஷன் என்பது ஜுவனைல் பேஸ் என்றும் ரீப்ரொடக்டிவ் பேஸ் என்றும் அழைக்கின்றோம். ஜுவனைல் பேஸ் என்பது வளர்ச்சிக்காக ஜுவனைல் ஹார்மோன் நிறைய உற்பத்தியாகி அது நல்ல வளர்ச்சி அடைந்து ரீப்ரொடக்டிவ் பேஸுக்கு தயாராகிறது. உதாரணத்திற்கு பெண்களில் 12 13 வயசு, ஆண்களில் ஒரு 15, இதை போல சொல்கின்றோம் ஜுவனைல் பேஸ். தென் ரீப்ரொடக்டிவ் phase starts. That means during that period only the gamete formation starts. So then இந்த பிரைமேட் என்றால் அதாவது அந்த வளர்ச்சியினுடைய உச்சியில் இருக்கின்றது, உடம்பெல்லாம் முடி பெற்றிருக்கின்ற, மெமரி கிளாண்ட் பெற்றிருக்கின்ற ஒரு விலங்காக நாம் கருகின்றோம் மனிதர்களை. அதுக்கு பேர் வந்து அந்த அந்த மாதிரி மிருகங்கள் பிரைமேட்ஸில் மென்ஸ்ட்ரல் சைக்கிள் இஸ் பாசிபிள். அதாவது மாதம் பெண்கள் இன் ஃபீமேல் the menstrual cycle every month the cycle starts, that is the ovulation starts. ovulation ஓவா வந்து உற்பத்தி ஆகிறது ஒரே ஒரு ஓவா, ஒரு மாதத்திற்கு ஒரு ஓவா உற்பத்தி ஆகும். அது எவரி மந்த் உற்பத்தி ஆகிறது. in the case of male the sperm generates. in case of male there is no such cycle. in the case of female the menstrual cycle is possible, that is once in a month, that is 29 days. It starts from 1 to 29 days. During the 13th, 14th, 15th day the ovulation starts. During that period is congenial for the conjugation of male gamete and female gamete. If during that period the conjugation is there, then the fertilization is quite possible. Then events in sexual வகைப்படுத்தும் பொழுது ஃபெர்டிலைசேஷன், கருவுறுதலுக்கு முன்னாக, கருவுறுதல் பிறகு என்று 3 வகைப்படுத்திக் கொள்கின்றோம். Now we are going to see about the pre-fertilization events. In case of gamete formation, some are called homogametes, some are called isogametes. In case of the primitive organisms, for example Chlamydomonas, the isogametes are formed. Isogametes means the gametes will be in similar size. This is called isogametes. Isogametes means similar gametes. If the two gametes are male and female combined together, then the fertilization is possible. Then heterogamous, in case of ficus, this is Chlamydomonas. In case of ficus the anisogamete is possible. That is one thing is the bigger one, another thing is smaller one. This is called anisogametes. This is in case of ficus. In case of ficus and humans also, the ovum is very bigger and the sperm is smaller. In case of humans, the ovum is very bigger and the smaller is smaller. It contains the acrosome, mitochondria and that is otherwise called middle piece, and then tail. This is in case of humans. That is called not similar gametes, but different type, different shapes it has. This is with regard to the animals. In case of plants, some plants have only the male part, that is staminate. Stamen means the filament will be there, and then the anther. In the anther it is four-lobed, and inside the anther there will be pollen grains. Such type of flowers are called staminate flowers. A staminate flower means only the male flower has stamen. In that flower there is no pistillate, that is no female organs such as stigma, style and ovary. There is no style, stigma and ovary. That is unisexual flower, otherwise called unisexual flower or staminate flower. In case of female, that is also called unisexual flower. In that you can see only the pistillate. Pistillate means the style, stigma, the stigma, style and then the ovary. The filament will not be available. Such of those flowers are called pistillate flowers. In fistulate flowers, only you can see style, stigma, and then the ovary. If these things are available, then it is called fistulate flower. In case of, this is in case of, in some flowers both are available, that's called bisexual flower. In the case of animals, both the male gamete and female gamete formation are available. That is called hermaphrodite animals. Hermaphrodite animals means both the male and female gamete producing organs will be there. That is called hermaphrodite. H-E-R-M-A, hermaphrodite. P-H-O-R-D-I-T-E. In hermaphrodite animals such as earthworm, example earthworm. In earthworm, both the male organs and female gamete forming organisms will be there. That is called hermaphrodite animals. In case of next thing, we are going to talk about the cell division during gamete formation. So during so usually the male will produce male gamete, female will produce female gamete, and how the male gamete and female gamete is formed, that is called gamete formation. And during that gamete formation, the cell division happens, that is meiosis as well as mitosis. The meiosis is possible by diploid chromosome is made into haploid, and then the haploid is maintained as diploid by having the mitosis cell division. Then gametes are called haploid. Usually the gametes are haploid. And then haploid plant body is known as, in case of Monera, fungi, algae and bryophytes, the thallus is having, the plant body is called thallus, that is always haploid. Some of the haploid means only it has n number of chromosomes. In case of Monera and fungi, algae and bryophyta, these plants having thallus or plant body, and that plant body is having only n number of chromosomes. That is the n number means, say for example, it may be 5, 7, 9 like that. Diploid plant body means in some cases the plant body is known as diploid plant body, that means 2n chromosomes will be there. In case of Pteridophyta, gymnosperms and angiosperms, the plant body is having diploid number of chromosomes. And then the diploid number of chromosome, during the gamete formation, the diploid is again for example in the during the flower is formed in that in the plant body, and in the plant body there may be bisexual flowers, and the bisexual flowers there may be anther. In the anther, the mother cell will be having 2n, and while forming the pollen grain, it will be converted into n, that is haploid. Like that, similarly, in the case of ovary, before forming the ovary, there will be 2n, and meiosis cell division happens there, and then it becomes n. So the haploid, that is called meiosis cell division. By having meiosis cell division, the diploid is converted into haploid. In case of human beings also, the diploid, the mother cell of sperm mother cell or ovum mother cell is converted into haploid sperm and ovum respectively by having the meiosis cell division. Then another thing, now we are going to talk about fission of gametes. Fission of gametes means when the combination of male and female gamete is known as gamete fission. And we are going to talk about the nature of male gamete and female gamete. The male gamete is usually motile. Motile means it starts swimming because the male has the middle piece and tail. This is a nucleus, and this is called acrosome, and this is called middle piece, and this is tail. So by having, since the sperm is having tail, it has the power of moving from one place to another place. So male gamete is always motile, and female gamete is not motile. Female gamete will always there in the archegonium, or in case of human being, that will be in the it forms in the ovary, and then it moves to the fallopian tube and it comes to the uterus. So that is that is it is not motile, but it will be move from one place to another place inside the female body. That is not motile. But in case of but certain exceptions are there. In case of fungi and algae, both are moving. Fungi and algae, this is exceptional case. In the fungi and algae, both are motile. Both the female gametes and male gametes are motile, because these are all primitive organisms, and that move usually it grows in water. Water is essential for algae, fungi, bryophyta. So through the water it moves. The ovum or the male gamete moves. So water is necessary. So in case of algae, in case of fungi and algae, both the gametes are motile. That you should know. This is exception. Usually the male gametes are motile, female gametes are not motile. But in the case of fungi and algae, both gametes are motile. And another thing, in case of algae, fungi, bryophyta, these are all non-flowering plants, primitive organism, primitive plants. So these require water for its fertilization and other things. That also we should know. Water is necessary for fertilization. Then another thing you should know, in case of whether primitive organism or higher organisms, usually the male gametes are produced lot. Why male gametes are produced lot means, the male gametes usually search the female gamete. So during the searching of female gamete, it has to swim, and while doing so, lot of male gametes will be lost. It will be destroyed, or will become immortal, or will be dead, like that. So that the male gametes are produced a lot. Then only it is possible to reach the ovum. So if the question is asked why male gametes are produced more, means this is the reason, whether it is a higher organism or lower organism. And another thing, we are going to talk about flowering plants. We are going to talk about flowering plants. Angiosperm. Gymnosperm is not considered as a flowering plant, because straight away the seed formation happens. So flowering plants means angiosperms. In that the male gametes are produced in the pollen grain. In some of the flowers, both male flowers and female parts are there. But in pollen grains, usually the male gamete is known as pollen grains. Female gamete is known as egg. And then we have to see what is meant by the pollen grains are produced always in anther. And anther should be transferred to the stigma. And bisexual flowers, both filament and the stigma, that is female parts and male part of the plant, both should be there. Then it is called bisexual flowers. For example, in case of bisexual flower, the filament will be there and the anther will be there. That is male part of the plant. Female part of the plant, the stigma, style and ovary. All these things are combined together. This is called female part of the flower. Male part of the flower, this is filament and then this is anther. So if both are there, it is called bisexual flower, and if it is only one is there, then it is called unisexual flower. In unisexual flower, suppose if it is unisexual flower, suppose if the female part is not there, in unisexual flower, the pollination happens by means of cross pollination. So it has to, the male gamete should reach the female gamete. For that, the pollen grain should reach the female part of the plant. That is in some other plant, that is called monoecious in case of coconut, and in some other thing, male flower is separate and female flower separate. So the pollen grain should reach the stigma of another flower by means of cross pollination. For cross pollination, the agents are required, such as air or water or some other agents like bee, or those things are required. That is that. So in unisexual flower, cross pollination is a must. But in bisexual flowers, because both are simultaneously available. So the anther of the same flower will reach the stigma of the same flower. That is called the self-pollination. Usually the self-pollination, the viability or the strength of the fruit will not be that much great. That also we should know something about the cross pollination. And then how pollen tubes from the pollen grains are reaching the stigma and how it reaches the ovary. That's also another thing. The pollen grain have two coatings. In the center, nucleus will be there, and the outer covering is called exine. The inner coating is called intine. The inner from the inner from the pollen grain, a pollen tube is formed, and the nucleus moves to the pollen grain, and one nucleus is divided into two, and generative class tube nucleus, and again it divides into two, that is two generative nucleus, and that reaches that the tube develops and it reaches the ovary. So the other process we will see in the next part, and up to that we are closing the pre-fertilization event. Now then again fertilization and post-fertilization we will see in the another part. So with this we are completing the pre-fertilization events.